Hey, this is Brad here with lookmold.com, and today we are going to talk about what to do if you have a leak in your home. The emergency damage restoration industry is a cutthroat industry, and you can lose thousands upon thousands of dollars and also have thousands upon thousands of dollars of damage in your home. But first, before we get started, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when we have new videos related to mold and water damage. Now, when you have a leak in your house, usually it's an emergency, especially because it's happening to you and nobody else. But if you take some certain steps in order to dry the area out, you can prevent something like this from happening in your home. Now, your first action when you have a leak is to determine what the source of the leak is from. Is it a roof leak? Is it a plumbing leak? You need to determine where the water is coming from. And if it is a plumbing leak, go ahead and turn the water off outside the water main so it limits the amount of water damage within the home. Depending upon how bad your water damage is, your next step will most likely be contacting your insurance company. Now, your insurance company may send an emergency water damage restoration company out to your house, or they may instruct you to do so yourself. But you want to contact them to let them know, because sometimes insurance companies, we know, they love taking your money every month, but they do not like paying. So you just want to notify them right away so they can't give you a hard time saying, hey, you waited to go ahead and tell us about this and we are not going to cover you. So contact your insurance company. If it's outside of business hours, go ahead, don't even wait, get yourself an emergency damage restoration company. Now, emergency damage restoration company, they are also called emergency dryout, water extraction, emergency restoration, all sorts of names, usually with the word emergency in the beginning because it is an emergency. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to go find one. You can go on google.com, search emergency damage restoration near me, put the name of your city in there, and you're going to call that company right away. Now, the company will generally work directly with insurance companies, and they will not usually require money up front. Talk to them, though, on the phone. Ask them those questions. Will you deal with my insurance company? These are things that you really want to get ironed out before you have them come out. Now, when they come out to your house, they are going to dry everything out. They're going to bring commercial dehumidifiers in there. They're going to bring air movers in there, which are just basically another fancy word for big fans. They may pop off some baseboards. They may put some holes in your ceiling. Now, it's kind of a process, but it's very, very important to limit mold growth. Now, in the next section, I am going to show you how you can do this yourself, but be advised, I don't recommend it. It's not rocket science, but there is sort of an art form to it, and you should know what you're doing to dry everything out. If you're going to dry it out by yourself, your first step is going to be determine what got wet. Now, remember, you want to limit the amount of water damage, so if you know what the water source is, you will know where to look. Get yourself a moisture meter, infrared camera, something to determine the areas that got wet so you can pinpoint what needs to be dried out. That is going to be your first step. Step 2 is going to be dry up any standing water, which means big puddles, big water damage areas where there's excessive amounts of water. Dry it up, squeegee it out the door, get yourself towels, do whatever you need to do to get the standing water taken care of. Step 3 may require removing building materials. Now, you're not going to be starting pulling all the walls out or anything like that. What you're going to do is pull off the baseboard, put some holes along the bottom where the baseboard was. Maybe if the leak is coming from up top, you're going to put some holes in the ceiling, small holes, just for the area to breathe, and also so you can get heat or dehumidification equipment or get air moving inside of the wall cavities, because when the areas behind the wall get wet, that's when mold will start to grow with inside of the actual walls. So just let the area breathe. Step number 4 involves installing the equipment that is going to dry everything out. The two things you need is a dehumidifier. You want to get yourself a commercial dehumidifier. You can rent one at a place like Home Depot, and get yourself a couple of area air movers, which again is a fancy word for a fan. You can rent those as well at a place like Home Depot. Now, you're going to put the fans up to the area that got wet, whether it be a floorboard or wall or ceiling. You're going to point it in the direction, and those holes is going to, the air is going to go up in there and actually dry out the inner wall cavity as well as the living space side of the building material. Now, the dehumidification equipment is going to pull moisture from the air as well as from the building material. The dehumidifier can be drained into a plumbing fixture such as a sink, a toilet, a shower, something of that nature, and it's going to pull all the moisture out. Now, these machines should run for 24, 48, 72 hours. Pretty much whenever everything is dried out, that is when you can turn it off. And the key is you want to get to this sooner rather than later. Get to it right away and it will limit your mold growth. Again, I do recommend that you call an emergency restoration company, but this is for the do-it-yourself people. Go ahead and follow these directions and you should get the area dried out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for more information, go to lookmold.com.